Hi, Steve Harrison here. And as you know, my companies help launch books like Chicken Soup for the Soul and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And we've worked with thousands of authors and speakers and coaches and consultants. And it's very, very rare, actually, that when I work with these folks that they catch my eye enough that I say, hey, listen, can I pay you for advice? Can you coach me or my team? And this guest that you're going to hear from has really made that bar. This is Leeza Steindorf, and Leeza is an international consultant, coach, speaker, and she really helps individuals, helps families, helps organizations go to the next level and achieve just much higher levels of success. She's the founder of CoreSuccess.com, and she's the author, in fact, of a brand new book that is making a lot of waves. Connected Parent, Empowered Child: 5 Keys to Raising Happy, Confident, Responsible Kids. Leeza, welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to be here.
You know, I love your whole URL, CoreSuccess.com. I know this is really what you're all about. Tell people, I think everybody wants success. They might wonder, what is core success?
hmm Well, I think in our culture, we've come to believe that success is something that's outside of us, something we need to go after and get and somehow reel it into our lives and into ourselves. And what I found, not only in my own life and experience, but in working with really hundreds of people and families and organizations, is that people already possess everything they need to be the most that they want to be and achieve their highest success. So it's not something they have to go and get. It's something they have within themselves, and identifying that and cultivating that is what makes them successful.
I love that. I think that's probably encouraging to everybody, right? That if you already have what you need, it's not like you have to be somebody else. Or at the same time, there's then, if they already have what they need, why aren't they having the level of success that they want?
It's an excellent question. Really, the first stumbling block is that people don't believe that about themselves. They don't believe that they really have what it takes, that they have the drive, the intelligence, the initiative, the talent, the skills. And what I do is help them through various modalities and techniques is to discover that actually they really do. And they can achieve exactly what they want to.
And I think it's fascinating because you have such a rich background. You've worked around the world. You work with you're a very highly paid consultant by businesses, business managers, and also you work a lot with parents. So what do business managers, business leaders, and parents have in common?
Well, parents, business leaders, they both are doing a job that's really tough. They are in charge of moving a group of people forward that perhaps don't have the vision and the overview that they themselves have. And they're charged with not only inspiring those people, but also helping them to get along, be as productive as they can, and also resolving conflicts and dealing with the daily stressors that come up, and how to move all of those things into one direction so that they can have a collaborative success, if you will.
Hmm. So give me an example of something you teach that really helps both those types of individuals go to the next level.
Okay, well, I use different verbiage for the two different arenas, let's say business and parenting. When I'm talking to parents, what I usually say is, your kids are not trying to piss you off.
Okay.
And that actually really is an aha for a lot of parents, because a lot of us have been brought up to believe that when our kids are doing something, they're doing it to push our buttons, to irritate us. They know what gets on our nerves, and then they're going after that. And when one considers that really is not the truth, they are doing the best they can given their current circumstances and abilities, and this is how it looks. And if I try and understand why they're doing what they're doing, instead of coming from the viewpoint of, oh, they're doing this to me or trying to upset me, I'm going to see it completely differently, and I'm going to have more skills available to actually help them in whatever they're dealing with, and also to take charge of the situation. In business, it's no different. I say the same thing. The people you're working with, they're doing the best they can. They're not trying to make problems. They're actually trying to deal with what they're dealing with the best way they know how. And if you could understand what they're doing, then you can help them deal with it better.
But what do you say to the parent or the manager who says, well, that person isn't doing the best they can? If they're doing the best they can, I'd be happy with their performance.
An individual's happiness is not dependent on somebody else's behavior.
Okay.
So, for example, if I'm a parent and I want to have my child's room clean for various reasons, it looks good, it's cleaner for the house, more hygienic, and so forth. If they clean up their room, that's not making me happy. I'm being pleased by their activity, but I'm doing that for myself. So first, to disentangle my well-being and my satisfaction from what somebody else is doing, and at the same time putting out a desire and saying, you know what, I want your room clean. These are the reasons why. These are the parameters. If you don't do it, this is going to happen, and setting that up, but not tying my well-being to their behavior, because that's a one-way street, and the end is not a happy one.
We'll talk a little bit more about that, whether it's the parent or the business leader or manager tying their happiness to the performance of their child or the people they're managing. Talk a little bit more about why that's a problem.
Well, it's a problem on an interactive level, first of all, and it's also a problem at the end in a productivity level, both in the home and also in business. So if I'm working with somebody, let's say I have an employee and they have a project to complete by a certain date, and they have milestones to achieve, and they're either not meeting the milestones, or when they meet them, they're not holding the productivity level that is expected. If I'm getting frustrated as the manager, if I'm getting emotionally involved and irritated, I'm judging this person, they should be working harder, they really don't care, I could see it in their face. If I'm busy with all of that, I'm actually hindering my ability to have a clear mind and look at the situation and say, okay, why haven't they achieved it on time? Do they have the information that they need? Do they have the resources that they need? Do they understand the importance of the task at hand? And so I have more ability to help them move forward and achieve what I'm desiring for them to achieve if I'm not tying my well-being to their behavior.
Wow, I think that's just hugely liberating concept. Yeah, that I think a lot of times people are going home stressed, either because of family situations or problems in their work, and you're drawing a really powerful distinction that they don't have to be the thermometer that's reacting. They can be more in control and still have the clarity of saying, this is not the result that I want.
Exactly.
So Leeza, if you think about this, what essentially do you really give people that just catapults them to the next level?
I help people get very clear on what it is that they want and how they're going to get there. So I assist them in becoming specific in what their desires, their goals, their expectations are. So in a family, I worked with a single mother, recently divorced. Her child would come home, her daughter came home, would want to watch television at night, not do her homework. It was done differently at the other parent's house. And she made very specific rules about how she wanted it in her family, how they were going to do it together in their household. And it would absolutely transformed how it worked to such an extent that the daughter actually went back to her father's house and implemented the same rules that they had created together in their home.
Wow.
Yeah, very powerful. And the same thing in businesses. I was hired to do strategic planning for a startup, $20 million startup. And the company, 2 days into the strategic planning process, we identified that actually they hadn't even nailed down their sales model. And so we first had to put that one ahead of the strategic planning process. So even a large company that is moving in a direction, to help them get very specific about what are they doing, what do they already have in place, and what are they missing in order to get to where they want to go.
And I think a lot of times people often know they need a plan. They don't have one. And so that's a huge thing that you provide. There's others where people sometimes feel like, we've had all kinds of plans that never get followed, or they just don't like planning. What do you say to that?
Well, if that's the case, what usually happens, it's not the plan, it's the execution. And often what happens is people aren't doing the jobs that they're really good at. So that to find out what skills individuals have, optimize those, put the right people in the right places, and get them doing the jobs that actually they're really skilled in doing. And that's the same thing in the household, to find out what talents and uniqueness each child has and let them take over those tasks or those projects or events in the family daily life so that they feel like they are really productive and contributing.
This is great. Well, this is wonderful. And I know your core success. Why don't you take people through what is core, the CORE, what does that stand for?
So C is for clarity, to be very specific and clear about what you want. O is for ownership, so taking 100% responsibility for who you are and what you're doing and where you're going. R is for resolution, having the skills, the communication abilities to clarify conflicts when they come in a fair and pleasant manner. And E is for excellence, personal excellence, professional excellence, and to not ever settle for anything less than that.
Well, I think that's the note to end on. I always learn from you, Leeza. Thank you so much for what you've done for me and my team and just so many organizations and families out there. I wish you the very best, and I want to encourage everybody to go to coresuccess.com and check out Leeza's work, get on her list, talk to her, and have her help you go to the next level.
Thank you, Steve.